Hello, my name is Rusty Ford. This is the first in a series of videos about my cousin Billy Bob Lidel and the rest of the Lidel family. My Aunt Imogene, my Uncle Virgil, man, they some characters. I growed up myself in kind of a rural area of Mississippi, and that was okay. I enjoyed it, but I spent as much time as I possibly could down at the Waddell's farm. I mean, they were in the sticks. They was in the middle of nowhere, and life was not better. We went fishing, we went hunting, we went tramping through the woods. I mean, it was always a blast. And these two characters, Billy Bob and Lidel, as you'll see as this series progresses, are two of the funniest people you could ever meet. And man, my life was full and rich and happy, especially during the summers, because I really just pretty much spent the entire summer at the Waddell farm. It was like going to camp all summer with my two favorite cousins. Now, since I'm going to make a series of these videos, since COVID's around, I can't be on stage anywhere. I thought I would help the rest of you laugh as well. And so I thought, what better place to start than to start with when they was little? And I would come over and hear some of the things that I heard them say. It was a riot. Well, my first thing I'd like to share is something Billy Bob said, because there's such a ring of truth to it. And I think you'll all understand, especially if you're younger and especially if he's kids, you would understand this one. Billy Bob asks Aunt Imogene one day, says, why do bad guys always want to take over the world? And Aunt Imogene says, because they want to be in charge and make the rules. Billy Bob thought for a minute and says, then why don't they just become mommies? I remember one night I was over for dinner and the preacher was coming over, and Billy Bob and Lidel and I were sitting there, and her mom explained that the preacher was coming over and he was a great humanitarian. And when she walked out of the room, Billy Bob asked, I wonder what a humanitarian is. Lidel says, I know, it's kind of like a vegetarian, only they only eat humans. Billy Bob thought for a minute, says, I think we need to skip dinner tonight. One night, Billy Bob says to his mom, Mom, you were my best friend before I got friends. Another time, Lidel asked his, and I were sitting around, and Aunt Imogene says, got a new baby on the way. You want it to be a boy or a girl? I thought for a minute and said, neither. I want it to be Batman. Aunt Imogene was one of those fine, dignified Southern belle types. So it sent us all to the floor when Lidel told his mom, you need to shave your legs. Looks like somebody done planted a cornfield. And I tell you, just like a cartoon, I swear, if I'm lying, I'm dying. It looked like steam was coming out of that woman's ears. Billy Bob and I were trying to invent something one day, and Billy Bob says, most inventors are smart, but the person who invented homework, they're the worst inventors ever. Lidel asked his mom one day, Mom, are you going to have any more kids? Aunt Imogene says, absolutely not. Lidel said, well, how do you know? Did the doctor put something up your butt so babies can't come out again? Aunt Imogene asked Lidel, how many wheels are there on a tricycle? Lidel stood up and says, I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. I remember I was over one night, spending the night, and we was all trying to go to sleep, and it was about 1 o'clock, and we just kept talking. And Billy Bob looks over at Lidel, says, why don't you just shut up and go to sleep? Lidel looks at him back and says, shut up or I'll kick your face. Now, that was the first time I ever heard him say this, but this became one of his most favorite sayings of all time. Anytime anybody says something that Lidel doesn't like, he says, shut up or I'll kick your face. Luckily, I don't think I've ever seen him kick anybody's face, but he sure threatened it a lot. We was all playing one night, and Billy Bob's mom came in and she grabbed him and started tickling him. He's about 6 years old, and Billy Bob, lets out a big old hairy fart. And his mom got up and started to walk away. And Billy Bob says, "Please, Mom, tickle me again. I won't farts this time." One of my favorite things, in the sticks of Mississippi, and even to this day, there are places that don't have indoor plumbing. But in all my years at the Lidel or the Waddell farm, they never had indoor. I mean, they had a pump at the sink, but the bathrooms was an outhouse outside. And outhouses ain't the most pleasant places to go to the bathroom in, but when it's dark, it can be just downright scary. Walking out there in your barefoot in the dark with all the snakes and everything around central Mississippi. Well, Billy Bob, when he was young, was scared to go out to the outhouse in the evenings after it got dark, and he would walk in the other room and says, "Mom, can you come watch me poop?" One night, I'm sorry, some of these things just crack me up. When we was all sitting at the table playing sorry one night, Lidel said, "Dang, somebody farted. Will you close your butthole, please?" I remember Aunt Imogene done bought some apples, and they was the nasty red delicious apples. I don't know how red delicious apples sell. I mean, they're a pretty color red, but they's a nasty apple. And Billy Bob took a big old bite of one of those tasteless, mushy apples and said, "This is kind of like taking a bite out of an old person." We was all playing outside one day, and it's hot. In central Mississippi, it'll be 99 to 105 degrees outside in the summertime with 95% humidity. I mean, you just look out the window and you start sweating. Billy Bob looked at Lidel and says, "Dang, your armpit smell like horse slobber." Yeah, I don't know that I ever smelled horse slobber, but that can't be a nice thing for something to smell like. We was all sitting at the table one night. Lidel, we was eating pizza. Now, eating pizza was a treat because, there weren't no pizza parlors anywhere in town, but every once in a while, when they'd have to drive the 20 miles to get to a little small town, there was a little pizza place there. And every once in a while, Uncle Lidel would bring home a pizza. And this was one of those times, a really special occasion because we got to eat pizza. And we're sitting there at the table, and Lidel said, "Dang it, I got pizza stuck in my butt crack." I don't know how that can happen, but if it could happen to anybody, it would be Lidel, because he's the only person I know that could pull something like that one off. Billy Bob was walking past his mom one day, and he farted really loud. And with a red face, he said, "Sorry, but that was my butt saying thanks for the food." Once Aunt Imogene heard a loud ouch coming from the other room. We was all roughhousing, and she yelled, "Is everybody okay in there?" Billy Bob hollers back, "Oh, I just stubbed my toe. That one that says wee, wee, wee all the way home." Once in a while, the Lidels would have everybody over. And one Christmas, we all came over, my family, and a couple other families. And our Aunt Scarlett wasn't feeling very well. She's Aunt Imogene's sister, and so she went into Uncle Virgil's den and was arrested. And Lidel comes in and asks why she was sitting in the den all by herself. She explains that she is having bad cramps. So Lidel took it upon himself to let everybody know why she wasn't joining the party. And he comes into the living room and announces, "Aunt Scarlett wasn't hanging out with all of us because she had bad crabs, really big ones." I don't know if that woman ever forgave him for that one. Once Billy Bob and I were climbing the trees. We love to climb trees. We climb any tree. And if you listen to this series, you'll find out some funny things that we did while climbing trees, especially when it comes to hunting. Well, while we was all waiting at the doctor's office, a family comes in, and they was kind of different look. I mean, their eyes seemed to kind of bulge out of their heads. And Lidell looked over at his mom and said, "Did they all come in just so they could have their eyes put back in their heads?" Billy Bob, just out of the blue one day, we was outside playing, and you know, we had been in before that, looking at picture books, and this idea must have got in his head at that time. But he says, since an elephant drinks through his nose, I wonder if it all tastes like snot. Billy Bob asked, "Grandma is so good with kids. Why didn't she have any of her own?" I remember one day Aunt Imogene was doing some laundry, and Lidell was walking through the room, and he saw one of her bras uh, laying there on the floor, and he said, "Mama, you done left your booby goggles on the floor." These are just some of the funny things that they said, and just some of the funny things that I just sat down and made a list of the things I could remember. But uh, I'm not sure if this made you laugh or not. I mean, it always made me laugh. And if you thought it was funny, share it with a friend. Click the little like button down there and say you liked the video. And if you've heard youngins say some very funny things yourself, go ahead and leave it in the comments, because the more comments, the funnier this whole thing becomes. And I'm just trying to make everybody's day just a little bit happier. I've got plenty more videos coming about the antics of my cousins. So please subscribe to my channel so you knows what's coming up next. I wish you all the best. God bless.